Chris, but this is my favorite segment of the week because I've already put the hay in the barn. The work's already done. My power rankings are compiled. This is your opportunity to throw darts at my work product, and you have been, I must say, very charitable. Maybe it means I've stepped up my game and I've done a better job than I have in the past, so you don't have anything to complain about. But,
yeah, it's early. I haven't had to complain about too much as of late. You're right. You've been I think, pretty good in these power rankings. I'm sure you'll mess them up more as the year goes along, though. Don't worry.
But this year's easier because it really does feel like there's a cluster of great teams, there's a cluster of crap teams, and then there's the middle.
Yeah.
And we're already there 3 weeks in where we can discern and divine where these teams are. So let's get rolling with the power rankings based upon everything through week 3. We call them the week 4 power rankings because it sounds newer if you use week 4 instead of week 3. And here we go. At number 1, shocker, all season long so far, the New England Patriots 3-0. They have been dominant. Now, their opponents are a combined 0-9, so they really haven't played anyone yet, but they have dispatched very easily everyone that they have played. Chiefs at number 2, Cowboys at 3, and the Rams at 4. Unchanged from last week, Chris. And let's just stop right there.
Yeah,
because to me, it feels like those 4 are clearly the best teams in the NFL, and then it's everyone else trying to disrupt that reality.
No, I'm with you there. They're the best 4 teams in football. They got everything you want. They're battle-tested. They're the cream of the crop right now. Let me just ask you this. With the top 4, did you think about any finagling there? Was there any thought of maybe the Rams at 3 or the Cowboys at 2 in front of the Chiefs, or you feel good about your top 4?
I don't like to make a change. I don't like to drop a team that wins unless they win under very questionable circumstances or they just had a really bad game and they got lucky. They barely beat a bad team.
Right.
I mean, the Chiefs handled the Ravens. The Cowboys handled the Dolphins, even though it was closer than 31-6 would suggest. And then the Rams did not have a rollicking victory in Cleveland. If they had won that game by 20 or more points, then maybe you bump them up to number 3. I don't know. But I really don't like dropping teams when they win because I don't want to have my email box full of complaints from the fans of a team who won and got dropped. So yes, I don't want to be bothered with a bunch of people complaining, how did you drop my team when my team won its game? All right, let's continue with the rest of the top 10.
Yep.
Packers at number 5. They're up 2 spots from number 7, getting that victory over the Denver Broncos and also some teams in front of them losing. The Baltimore Ravens down, or they actually, how did I move them up? I guess I moved them up because all these other teams lost and they did acquit themselves well, as they would say, in Kansas City. So the Ravens actually move up in playing the Chiefs tougher than expected and losing to KC. Saints actually bump up a couple of spots because they beat the Seattle Seahawks. Vikings up 2 spots by beating the Oakland Raiders handily. The Seahawks drop from 5 all the way to 9, and the Bears are up from 12 to 10. There's the top 10.
Yeah, I got no big issues. I think you're a little high on the Ravens. I think I would have had Saints 6, Vikings 7, Seahawks 8, Ravens 9 if I had to do my power rankings, okay? I think you're giving that, my thing I'll say is this. I mean, they were the Baltimore Ravens were 2 miracle just Hail Mary throws in the air from being blown out of the gym. On a 4th and 5, I'm going to get sacked. Let me just throw the ball up in the air. They get a completion there. There was the 3rd and 17 where he scrambled to the right sideline and threw it all the way across the field for a completion. Those were 2 miracle plays that kept the game somewhat interesting. But if they don't happen, and I won't think you can depend on that on a weekly basis, that they're going to lose far worse than what they did. So I think I would have the Ravens a little lower is all I'm saying. Defend yourself, Mike Florio.
No, but I still think the Ravens are one of the best teams in the AFC. And look, I didn't expect them to go into Kansas City and win.
No,
and ultimately, they dug out of a hole.
They did.
They did have some luck. They did do some things that were questionable from a decision-making standpoint, going for it on 4th down, going for 2. I understand John Harbaugh's explanation. I still don't believe that you always go simply by the analytics. I think you have to understand, as we said yesterday, if your 2-point conversion plays aren't working, at a certain point, you should stop doing them.
Yeah.
Right? Even though the board says you should do them, or your high-level analytics, when you're down by 11, you go ahead and go for 2, so then you score 10 and you win in regulation. I get all that. I just don't get continuing to do something that hasn't been working, and for the Ravens going for 2 was not working. But I don't disagree with you. I look at I'm trying to figure out who would be number 6 instead of them, though.
I get you.
Right? If the Ravens aren't 6, do you move the Saints all the way to number 6? It was kind of a fluky win over the Seahawks.
It was.
The Vikings don't deserve to be number 6, although you could argue maybe they are number 6. They barely lost to the Packers, and the Packers are number 5.
That's right.
So maybe the Vikings should have gone from 10 all the way to number 6. But regardless, after you get through the past 4, it does get a little more jumbled because there are some good teams that are hovering there, and we still don't know what those teams are going to be.
Yeah, they are.
Let's look at the rest of the.
Yeah, please
Let's look at the rest of the teams.
Please.
Into the second 10. The Colts at number 11, a team that we need to take very seriously because they look better and better all the time.
Yes, they
without
do.
Andrew Luck. The Bills at number 12, they are undefeated. There are Bills fans who think they should be higher. 49ers at 13, I get the same argument. They're undefeated. They should be higher than that. I still want to see more from these teams before they crack the top 10. Texans moved up 6 with that win at LA over the Chargers. They are at 14. They were at number 20. Chargers at number 15. Jaguars at number 16 after beating the Tennessee Titans. Titans at 17. Browns at 18. They dropped 3 spots after losing to the Rams. Lions at 19, even though they're technically undefeated. And I dropped the Eagles, Chris.
Yeah.
And, I feel bad about this. They're my NFC Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
I dropped them from 6 all the way to number 20.
Yeah, I think that's okay right now. I mean, they're 1-2. They lost a home football game to the Lions. They're finding ways to screw games up. And yeah, they're not 100% health-wise, but you're ranking the teams as they are right now. You're not ranking them to what they're going to be when they are healthy. So I got no issue with that. I mean, we talked about it. Offense, they're turning the ball over. They're dropping passes. Defense can't rush the passer. There's issues in Philadelphia. I'm not mad at you. Where I am mad at you, okay, is I think I would have the Bills and the 49ers over the Bears, who you have at number 10 right now. I might have the Bills and the 49ers over the 9 Seahawks right now, the 9 and 10 Seahawks and Bears. That's where I'd push back on your 11 through 22 a little bit. I do think you're disrespecting the 49ers more than the Bills. I understand the trepidation about the Bills, but I think the 49ers, I wouldn't put them up in front of the Seahawks and the Bears right now for the way they've looked the first three games.
But they both went up 4 spots. See, the problem is when you start low, it's a gradual climb. And as you keep winning, you keep climbing. So it's incumbent on the 49ers and on the Bills to keep winning. And the Bills get their opportunity this weekend in the annual visit by Tom Brady to Buffalo, New Era Field.
What is that game? What is it called? What's the game called?
I don't know what the game is. So the game is called the Unidentified Flying Object Game, although we know what the object that's flying through the air
Are we allowed to say that word on air? Can't we say that?
I don't want to find out. I was on KJR in Seattle last night, and they said the word, and I could tell that the host was very concerned after he said the word that maybe he shouldn't have said the word, and all I said was, you said it, not me, buddy.
Yep, that's right. Well, it's the adult toy game. Let's say that, okay? It's always exciting. I will be tuned in just for that. I promise you, I will be watching to see when the adult toy flies onto the field in our annual tradition up in Buffalo. I hope somebody comes through with it.
Listen, no, I don't. We do not encourage it. We do not condone it. It is a safety hazard. The first year they did it, it was actually on the field. Somebody could have stepped on it. So do not do it. Bill, we're not saying that like, hey, go ahead and do it. Do not do it.
No, I'm saying do it, but just make sure nobody's around and don't hurt any players or anybody like that. But do it. Please do it.
How do you screen to make sure when somebody's entering the stadium they don't have one on them?
Sir.
It's like, is this real?
Sir, we don't let these objects in the stadium. Are you planning on using this during the game? No, I'm not. I just wanted it in my bag. We've gone off the rails.
I mean, this is a real concern if you're Bill's security. This is if you're having your meeting with all the security guards and you're like, what are our topics for the week? What's our big concern? Our big concern is ferreting out these items that may end up being thrown through the air and land on the field and hit somebody or create some sort of a hazard.
Yes.
All right. Bottom of the rankings. The Dolphins 0-3. They'd be lower than 32 if we could put them there. The Washington franchise has fallen to 31. The Jets are 30. The Giants moved up from 29 to 25, or 31 to 25 by beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the worst teams are settling in. We know that that's where they're going to be all year long. I don't see that changing very much, Chris.
No, I can't see it changing a whole lot either. I mean, I guess I think the Jets are worse than the Redskins at this point. I might have put them a little lower. But the rest of your group there, as far as 23 through 32, I don't have any pushback. The one thing I will say, out of that group there, where I look at them and I go, the majority of those teams, it's done, it's over. I still give the Panthers a little bit of a fighting chance to find their way out and maybe still be in a spot when Cam Newton does get healthy, to where they might still be able to make a run at the playoffs or do something. They're the one team I look at the bottom of your rankings where I go, there's still a gleam, there's still a glimmer that they could pull this together and be somewhat relevant.
If Cam Newton gets healthy, I don't think Kyle Allen is going to be able to continue this all year long.
No,
Cam Newton's got to get back
either
to the guy that we're accustomed to seeing, and that's what's so weird when we see him play, and it's obvious he's not the guy. At least we now know that it was that foot injury, because after that Week 2 loss on Thursday night to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everyone's insisting Cam's fine, Cam's fine, Cam's fine. It's like, well, if he's fine, then he stinks.
Yeah, right.
If he's not injured, he better be injured to be as bad as he was, as inaccurate as he was. And now we know his foot was messed up, and it was harder for him to plant and throw the football.